Dia follow yang lain. Okay guys, so what you saw isn't some kind of dating app wonderland that exists over here in this foreign country, man. I don't like using dating apps, man. I think dating apps are pretty garbage. I know in America, a lot of you guys are on Tinder, Bumble, whatever freaking new app they got out to drain you of all your confidence and money. I don't live in the dating app world, man. I live in the physical world where I'm surrounded by an abundance of beautiful women that I can go outside and meet basically anytime I want. In the West, the dating app economy is kind of built like a rigged casino, right? Like you keep playing and it gives you just enough to keep you going while it drains your entire wallet. Like swiping on an app is kind of like playing a slot machine, right? Like you swipe a lot, you get hit with a little bit of dopamine, you keep going, and then it says, hey, how about you pay for a premium upgrade, man? We'll try to get you more results. You pay for that, still you're getting hit with dopamine, but very little results to show for in your real life. So in America, as a normal man looking for women, you kind of get your self-esteem hit because you could go months without any action, any dates. You kind of feel like you're at the bottom of the hierarchy. And after a while, you start to think that, man, maybe I'm ugly, maybe I'm boring, you know, maybe women just don't like me. So the dating apps in America, they give you a false promise. They give you the promise of meeting women, when in reality, they put the women behind a paywall and you're stuck fighting the algorithm in a market where attention is very difficult to get unless you're in the top 5% of men. So dating apps are not a love machine. They're more like a casino. The algorithm basically limits your exposure. It makes you fight to be seen. And it gives you just enough hope to keep you playing. Like one match here, maybe one short reply from a decent woman there, one almost date that you get flaked on at the last minute. Like the average woman in America gets flooded with attention, while the average man in America has to fight for every single crumb that he gets. And he probably doesn't even get crumbs, he barely gets that. So it doesn't mean that the average man has no value. It just means that the average dating market is very distorted in women's favor against men. So your lack of success on the dating apps isn't a measure of your actual value in society. It's a measure of how toxic and rigged against you the environment that you're in is. So your lack of matches is not a clear indicator of your actual value. Your lack of matches shows you that you're fighting in a rigged environment that's meant to keep you invisible. By the way, if you're tired of swiping on your phone, paying for upgrades, and still not getting any action on dates, sign up for my free 15-minute Get Overseas strategy call. We can map out your plan for how you can get overseas within 30 to 90 days. I recommend English teaching. It's the fastest way for us Americans to get overseas, making consistent income. It provides a variety of job options that allow you to live in environments where you're much more respected as a man and you have way much more abundance with women. So click the link in the pinned comment or description of this video, pick a time, and yeah, man, let's talk. So man, you don't beat a rigged casino by sitting there and continue to play the slot machine and hoping that you're gonna win one day. You win by standing up and walking out of that environment and going somewhere else. So I recommend deleting dating apps as your main dating strategy. Not because dating apps can never work, but because if you're the average man in America, it's rigged against you and it's meant to drain you of basically everything without giving you much in return. So we got this thing called the 80-20 visibility rule, right? So if someone is looking at you from behind a screen, they can only see like the superficial aspects of you. But when it comes to things like your body language, your posture, your sense of humor, that stuff is much more easily projected in an in-person interaction compared to online. Like when you're physically present, the woman can feel your tone of voice, she can feel your warmth, and she's much more likely to give you a chance compared to if she's just judging you superficially off of some app. So when you change your geography, you're in a much better environment where what you bring to the table is really appreciated by the women there. So when you land in a place like Asia, for example, you start seeing an abundance of women in different environments that you can easily go approach and talk to in person rather than hoping she's going to give you a chance on an app. She can actually feel your presence as you're standing right next to her. So places like cafes, malls, markets, language exchange, meetups, You're no longer trapped inside of an app hoping to get in-person access to a woman. You have easy in-person access to a woman because you're in an environment with an abundance of them walking around 24/7. And as an American man with decent grooming, basic social skills, you stand out, especially over here in Asia, China, Thailand, South Korea, Japan. You stand out because you're different. You have the halo effect on you. You're much more differentiated, and that doesn't necessarily make you superior. It just means that you have something that separates you from the vast majority of other men in that environment. So you don't need every woman to want you. What you need is more opportunities to interact. More smiles, more conversation, more curiosity, more chances to show your presence instead of being judged by some frozen photo. And being in a situation where a woman can hear your voice, feel your calm presence, and just get a feeling of your energy, that's way better than being some commoditized product on a shelf that she can easily swipe on, swipe left, and reject you. So I hear you guys asking, okay, Danny, if the dating market is better if it's done physical, how can I get myself into that environment where I can be a physical presence? Well, I highly recommend English teaching. English teaching is the fastest way for us Americans to get overseas making consistent income. I've been doing it for over 12 years in the classroom and online, and I've taught in multiple countries across Asia. I've helped clients get overseas making money from 30 to 90 days. You can be overseas living an amazing life, surrounded by an abundance of women. English teaching gives you income, structure, and it gives you legal opportunities to stay in the country long term. So rather than just drifting around like a tourist, you're an actual physical presence that's locked down in the country, and that makes you way more attractive to the women in that country. So rather than meeting women through an algorithm, you're meeting them through real life, and real life gives you way more opportunities than something that's rigged against you like the algorithms in the States. And in Asian countries especially, you're highly respected as a teacher, and that gives you an order of status and respectability that the average backpacker tourist doesn't have. And it doesn't replace things like proper grooming, confidence, taking care of yourself. It doesn't replace those things, but it puts you in position to make sure you have those things in place for when you're out here interacting with women, because you have the baseline income to take care of your living expenses, and you also are in an environment where you have a lot more abundance in terms of healthy food options, nature, things to keep your mental bandwidth at a high level. So yeah, if this sounds good to you, click the link in the pinned comment description for the free 15-minute Get Overseas strategy call. Let's map out your plan to how you can be over here living in abundance. I've been living in abundance for a long time now, over 12 years overseas, and I highly recommend it for you guys, man. It's definitely changed my life. And I also have a free Quickstart English Teaching guide that gives you the information for how you can be an English teacher. It maps out the different job options, the countries you can teach in, the lifestyle you can have as an English teacher. So click the link for the free Quickstart English Teaching guide. It'll be sent to your inbox. And yeah, guys, I highly recommend, unless you're in like the top 5% of like really good looking guys, delete those dating apps off your phone and spend your time trying to get overseas to live a better life over here, because this life of abundance, there's enough for everybody, man. So hopefully this inspired you, and I'll see you in the next video.